What is going on, everybody? I apologize in advance. I'm having technical issues. I cannot get any of my headphones to connect to my computer. I'm having tons of issues between my phone and my computer as of late, so I apologize. Welcome to WIP Wednesday Live. We're on episode 21 tonight. Tonight we're going to be working on one figure. I'm getting so close to being finished. We're going to be working on this Night Thrasher figure that I've been working on. So I'm pretty excited. I'm almost finished. I have a couple little things to do, but I'm excited to show you guys where I'm at. I also just finished working on a custom figure for a secret swap with my buddy Morning Wolf Customs, who you guys might have seen. I posted that Age of Apocalypse Storm. She is right here. And man, oh man, she is a beauty. I was going to say hi to everybody. My buddy John Strand, Mr. Strand. I did send him a link, so maybe he'll pop on later. We'll see. He says, what it do, baby? How's it going, man? And Anonymous Dude, what's up, man? You are everywhere. He says, thanks for the stream. Happy Stcc week, y'all. Yeah, man. Thank you for popping in. Oh, and you said, hey, Matchu, you were great on toying around a few weeks back. Thank you, dude. Appreciate that. I had a blast. Kevin's awesome. We chat somewhat regularly, I guess, through DMs. Yeah, Kevin's a good man. Nice guy. And Quebec Diorama's here as well. Hello, sir. Bonjour. How are you? So yeah, so tonight I have a bit of customizing. This might not be a super long night tonight. I've been swamped between work. I'm in the process of opening a store at work. For anyone who knows, I work in the grocery industry, and I'm tired. I haven't been used to be getting up early. I work in an industry where we start early, but due to COVID and being at head office, I'm not used to getting up that early. So this week I have been exhausted every single day. I come home, I take a nap, and I'm just pretty fucking tired. So, and it doesn't help that I'm having tech issues and it's hot as dicks in this place. And I have a fan blowing on me, so I apologize. Hopefully you guys aren't hearing too much of that. So if you haven't already, please, the usual, hit that like button. Really helps me. If you aren't subscribed, please do that as well. Again, really helps. I'm trying to get those numbers up. I obviously don't have a whole lot of content coming right now because I'm so busy. Oh, nice. Anonymous Dude just subscribed. Thank you, dude. I appreciate that. And then, yeah, please chat it up. There's definitely lots of stuff to talk about tonight. The SDC preview night tonight. So haven't seen anything new Marvel Legends outside of that. I shouldn't say no, we didn't. We did. We saw that retro carded animated series Spider-Man, which looks pretty damn good. At first I was like, I don't need that. And then I saw pictures out of the package and I'm like, nah, shit, I probably need that. And then there's a bunch of NECA stuff that's been showing up over the last couple hours online, between Ninja Turtles and Gargoyles, and there's some more Dungeons and Dragons stuff. We saw Jada Toys Mega Man stuff. There's Jada Toys Street Fighter stuff, which I think also looks mostly good. Both of those things. Yeah. Oh, anonymous Dude says, sorry, I should have subbed earlier. Nah, man. There's nothing happening on this channel. Outside of these lives, there's not really a whole lot. I'm going to be putting out more content, hopefully once we get through the summer. So basically where I'm at timeline-wise, I kind of fill you guys in every week. So this will probably be the last WIP Wednesday live for, a good month probably. I will be back next Wednesday doing this again, but I will be switching back to Shelf Shuffle, which is where I redo my shelves. As you can see, they are a little bit barren. Those bottom 3 shelves I need to empty out so I can readjust to put my Sentinel in. So yeah, I'm getting down to the last few. I think I have 8 shelves left to do of 17, so we're getting there. But yeah, next week we'll be back to doing shelves. Another exciting thing about the channel is I bought a Sony ZV-1, I think is what they're called. Kevin Toying Around has one, and Prime to the First has one, and Adam Playing with Myself has one, and they are very high def, very, very clear cameras. So yeah, I got one. It comes tomorrow. So next week I should hopefully have a nice upgrade on the camera, be nice and crispy clear for you guys to be able to see. I'm pretty excited. So fuck yeah. What else? I don't think there's anything else. Oh yes, Moose Milk. So yeah, so for anybody who also follows Moose Milk Media and I do a podcast every week. We've been doing it on Fridays since it's kind of inception, but last weekend we did our first one on Saturday. We're switching it to Saturday since Ryan has changed schedules at work. So we are doing, we basically talk every week about pop culture. It's usually about what the Disney Plus show of the week is. We talk any news. This Saturday show is going to be all about STCC. So we don't really talk toys too much on the show unless it's brought up in the comments or I bring it up because it's relevant. We mostly just talk about like the movies, and we talk about music and stuff too. It's something that we bonded over when we became friends. So yeah, so we kind of do that every Saturday night, 10 p.m. Pacific time on Instagram, and it's also available on all your podcast services. So Spotify, Apple Music. I don't know. Is there any other ones? There probably is. But yeah, so check those out if you want. He's also on YouTube. Show him some love if you can. He runs those accounts, but yeah, we'd love it to get those numbers up a little bit. So, and it's basically just two best friends shooting the shit and usually saying stupid things. So yeah, come check it out. Catch us saying something stupid. Anonymous Dude says, what's your favorite thing that was announced at STCC so far? Awesome stuff being shown. Yeah, it's hard to say. There's some really cool stuff. In terms of what I want to buy, I'm very interested in that Fei Long from the Jada Toy Street Fighter line. I plan, if they scale nicely, I'm planning on supplementing my Bandai SH Figure Art Street Fighter line with the Jada Toy stuff. So anything that gets shown from there that's not an existing SH Figure Arts character, I will probably pick up. I'm pretty excited about that. I'm also very excited about the Mega Man figures. Really curious to see their size. Yeah, I would really love them to be about 4 inches tall. Then they could mesh in with my Street Fighter stuff, and I could do like a Capcom display. Would be kind of cool. So, Marcus E, hello, sir. Thanks for popping by, as usual. Hope you're having a good night. Hopefully it's not as sweltering hot there as it is here. It's fucking hot here today. What else? I also finished 2 customs, but they're away, so I won't grab them. I'm gonna post them Friday and Saturday this week. I finished that Mastermind and that Reese from the Reavers. So I'll be posting finished pictures of both of those this weekend. Yeah. Anonymous Dude, what are you feeling so far? What's your you asked me what my favorite thing was at SDC so far. What about you? I really like that Spider-Man too. It's interesting. I'm curious of what body that is, if they used a new body. It seems like they've kind of eliminated some of the muscle definition in the ab area. So yeah, I'm wondering if it's a new part. I didn't watch the review, so I'm sure it's probably in there. So I think Toy Shiz reviewed it. But and also some of those gargoyles look pretty fucking sick too. Hudson, Broadway and Lexington were both shown, which makes me excited. Xanatos was shown, and with those steel, I can't remember what they're called, the steel gargoyle, the metal gargoyles of his. So they look great. Marcus E, oh no, it's crispy up in here. The world is burning at this point. Yeah, it's true, man. It's brutal, dude. It's so brutal. Yeah, so anybody, feel free to chime in with anything. Did you guys see those pictures in the video that Dwight and Ryan did of the Galactus? I haven't backed Galactus. I'm not a Galactus fan, and that's not something I plan on making room for. But man, some of those things it looks so good. So, like the paint apps on him are just popping. They look great. Anonymous Dude says, Eternia set blew my mind in Filmation Origins. Thanks for asking. Cool, that's awesome. Did you guys see? I don't collect it, but I have a friend who buys it, and I kind of live through him. Did you guys see? So a few weeks ago, Mondo, a few weeks ago, Mondo showed off that He-Man 1/6 figure, and it looks amazing. It has lots of different options. It looks really, really cool. And then about 2 weeks ago or a week ago, they showed off She-Ra, who looked equally as cool. And then there's pictures from Stcc of a battle cat with a bunch of different alternate portraits and all of his armor, and man, looks fucking crazy. It looks so good. Looks so good. So yeah, there's definitely some cool stuff being shown. Later on, once I'm done, like I said, I'm probably not going to have much to customize tonight. I'm getting to the point where I'm right at the end of this figure. But once I switch the desk cam on, I'll show you guys some of the cool stuff I've done on this figure. Basically, what I need to do tonight is I need to add in his retractable knife blades that come out on his gauntlets. They're not going to be retractable. They're just going to be like put a magnet on it, or I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. I haven't figured it out yet. And then I have to do some sculpting on the chest to finish that off and fill in some holes on the torso where I drilled to pop it apart. And then I have to do a bit of more detailing on the knees. And other than that, and a little bit on the helmet. And other than that, I'm done. I've been waiting to finish this guy because the figure I made for Morning Wolf, which again is a secret, I finished the sculpting on it the other day. I'm really, really, really in love with it. I almost don't want to send it to him. No, I will though. But yeah, I love it. I love it. I'm super happy with it. So I'm really, really, really excited to paint that one. A little less excited to paint Night Thrasher. Night Thrasher's just kind of basic. He's just black with some red accents. So the fun part about painting an all black figure is you can kind of play with the different, you do the gloss, you do the metallic. So I probably will do a little bit of that. But yeah, I once I turn that overhead camera on, I'll show you guys some of the cool stuff I did for his billy clubs, which I'm pretty happy with. So it's gonna catch up. You guys are chatty and I love it. Anonymous dude says, binge Gargoyles on Disney Plus. It was incredible. Man, it still holds up, right? I don't know about season 3, but season 2 is like insanely long. I think it's like 45 episodes or something crazy, but man, it still holds up. I started rewatching it from season 1. I got about 10 or 12 episodes into season 2, and then I kind of just stopped again, but it's really good. Almost as good as Batman the Animated Series and X-Men 90s. Yeah, I never got too into Batman the Animated Series. I just kind of watch it every once in a while when it was on, but I liked the aesthetic of it. I liked the look of it. I love 90s X-Men animated. That's my favorite. Marcus Yee said, I am mixed on the animation style Spider-Man. I'm happy for those who want it, but I love that body mold, and I'm debating if I want to buy it and use it for customs. Yeah. I mean, I feel like you could probably take off those cell shaded or whatever they're calling that. I feel like you could probably take that off pretty easy if you wanted to. So there's this really good stuff. It's called. Where did I put it? It's called Windsor and Newton brush cleaner and restorer, and it is it works really well on to get factory paint off. Like I used it to get the paint on Gung Ho's chest off when I did that Reaver, and it worked. Like it just comes right off. It's really, really nice. My issue with the animation style cell shading on these figures is I feel like if you're gonna do it, you do it. And I feel like they're like half doing it. So it's like, I'll give you an example. I got Storm last week and she looks really good. I feel like that's one character that really makes sense for that cell shading, because it was always that argument of, is it black or is it silver? I put her in a pose where like her hands were up in the air and, I had the lightning hands on it or whatever. So it's like, you get all this cool cell shading on the front, but because they do nothing on the back, the arms are just white. And I'm just like, really? Like, because the back of her arms are showing when I have her arms up, right? So it's just like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I would, if they're gonna cell shade, like lean into it. Do what NECA does. Go heavy. Do the full thick lines right down, right? Don't half-ass it. Like, there's nothing more annoying than having it on the body but not on the arms, having it, on the chest but not on the head. Like, commit or don't. Like, that's my issue with it. So Marcus said, I was working on a custom today, but it got so hot the figure I was using for fodder just tore into pieces. What happens for me is they all start to like their legs start to bend and warp, and I start getting avalanches. So I saw one in the back of my Star Wars shelf today. Dengar took a ride and took down some people, so I'm gonna have to go back and do those eventually. But Anonymous Dude says, always love a music and pop culture fan. What's a fun song in your playlist, and did you enjoy Miss Marvel? Okay, so music is a huge part of my life. Right now, the song I keep going back to, which is funny, I'm really bad at finding new music, which is weird because I used to be known as the guy who was always digging into new music. But right now, I've kind of fallen back to, it's weird, Owl City Dementia featuring Mark Hoppus. Reminds me of a Blink-182 song. But yeah, I'm a huge Blink fan, and that song has been on constant repeat this week, so that's probably the one I'm listening to the most right now. But also I kind of went down a rabbit hole and jumped back into Millencolin. They're like a Swedish punk band. They're really good. I've been listening to them for a long time. So, and did I enjoy Miss Marvel? Yeah, I really did. I went in with like the lowest of expectations. I went in assuming I was going to dislike it, which says a lot because I pretty much like everything MCU. But I loved it. I thought it was very entertaining. I thought there was a few things I didn't like, but I mean, that's always the case. So yeah, I liked it a lot. I thought it was very good. I really liked that little reveal we got at the end. That was a lot of fun. Straight up deteriorated in my hands. It just melts through your fingers. Yes, and you said you've heard of this. Yeah, definitely worth, if you're gonna ever try to take off factory paint, don't use acetone. You can possibly damage the figure. This stuff, a little bit on a cotton ball, comes right off. Very, very easy, no work needed. And it's not as harsh as acetone, so. Anonymous Dude says, you have a dope style, cool piercings and tats. What influences your personal style? Blink-182 is really, so I know I've referred to Blink a few times on stuff that I've done. I think I even did on Toying Around show. Yeah, Blink was a massive inspiration for me. I used to be a musician as well, so that was a huge inspiration for me. And then just their style, their attitudes, their musical likes, a lot of that stuff really influenced the person I am today still. So yeah, I would say Blink-182 is probably, I used to have way more piercings. I had lip, tongue, and eyebrows, and yeah, had a bunch. But now I'm just left with my plugs, which is fine. I'm good. Marcus says, I'm cool with cell shading, normally for Power Rangers, but I wish they did that for all comic-based figures like Draken or the Color Swap 2-pack. That's just me. I feel like the aesthetic's not for everybody, so I feel like leaving them off is probably going to satisfy more. I feel like we will eventually get, if the comic-style ones still do well. I think we've only seen Kimberly from the cell shading one so far from Rangers, isn't it? I didn't see that yet. Quebec the Harama says, oh my god, they really made a Morbius hot toy. It's Morbin time. Right before I came on, I saw not Age of Apocalypse. I saw Marvel Select Apocalypse. Looks pretty good, actually. I think I'm gonna stick with my purple and blue retro one. I really like that one, the Hasbro that's coming out. But yeah, I saw a picture right before I went live, and it looked pretty okay. So Anonymous Dude says, play what you love. Ever been to TwitchCon? Blink did an after party concert there. Really? Cool. No, I don't even know what that is. What's TwitchCon? That's cool. I love Blink. I've seen them 6 times, I think. I used to see them a lot. Every time they come to Vancouver and BC, I see them. So Marcus says, I actually destroyed a figure by accident with nail polish remover. I was never the same. With nail polish remover, wow. I never had that issue with nail polish remover, but acetone, like pure acetone, I've had issues where I've melted stuff, or like I remember one time I was trying to get something off of a chest and I literally like I indented the chest because I was rubbing it with like a little bit of pressure, and it like softened it so much that it pushed in. So an honest dude, you guys are all chatty tonight. This is so awesome. I love when people chat. I'd rather talk than work some nights. I'm gonna add this camera on, so hang on here. Let's see. Oh, I think my mouse died. Yep. Oh, it needs to be charged. That's okay. Let's add this guy to the. So tonight I'm going to be working on this Night Thrasher. So this is a very specific version of Night Thrasher. It's made for my friend Seth, New Collector Customs. We do custom figure swaps every year and have for the last 7 years, I think. He's kind of my constant. He's my one who I do one with every year, no matter what, never fails. And he always has very specific things that he looks for. So he's a massive Night Thrasher fan. And there was a short run in the 90s when he was not with the New Warriors, I think. Or maybe he was and it was just a solo book. And basically, it's like an armored Night Thrasher with these billy clubs that retract. So you can push these in and out or take them right off, which we're going to do in a minute. And then they also have these blades that come out of the tip. So I cut off the tips of these sides from I actually don't know what the figure's from. And I'm going to use a magnet and inset them into here so you can basically have them kind of coming out of the gauntlet. So that's the plan. But yeah, this was made with a pretty cool recipe. So it's made on a Darkhawk body. And then I swapped out the shoulders and I took the shoulders and the gauntlets from Modular Iron Man and I modified them to fit onto the Bucky Cap body. The belt is from... I don't remember. I can't remember what the belt's from. Where did that come from? I don't remember. The knees are from a Winter Soldier Captain America movie, Captain America, and the lower legs are from Invincible Iron Man. So yeah, it's a pretty weird little bash, but I'm really happy with how it looks. The head is an old Silver Samurai that I sculpted a bunch onto. Oops, sorry, you guys aren't seeing what I've got there. I gotta fix this just a bit here. There we go. So that's what I'm working on tonight. Marcus says, yeah, Kimberly was the only one made. I really wanted to get it so I could slap on a dragon shield on her for her shattered grid look. That would have been very cool. I had an extra dragon shield, but I gave it to one of my friends, and I think he did that. So not with the cell shaded one, but making retractable stuff is hard. Yeah. Staffs? Oh, staffs. Yeah. So with this guy, I ended up using Legos. So when I was building Home Alone Legos at Christmas, I was like, man, some of these things might be super useful for custom fodder. So what I did was I took some of the grip hooks. You can see they're kind of like grips. And I dremeled off the base, and then I attached them to the gauntlet. And then these are just the usual Lego poles. I don't know if they have a name, but it's like a rod. So, and I think I'm going to cut it off at this little knob here because they're really too long. Like even at their length, the longest, you know, I'm not going to push this hand all the way in, so I'm trying not to any extra force. But even at its longest, it sticks out quite a bit over the fists. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to wait and see. But yeah, it might be better having it a bit longer because at the end of the day, even when it's up around here, it's not really like that big a deal. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to ask Seth and see what he thinks. Let him make the decision. But yeah, I really liked the idea of using the Legos because it's a very snug fit. They're tight. They don't come out. And it's like hard plastic, so I don't have to worry about it like losing its grip over time. So the Anonymous Dude says, Night Thrasher, great character, nice armor there. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm really happy with it. I'm liking how it's looking. Seth is too, so that's a bonus. I like when he likes it too. Okay, so we're all set. So we can keep talking SDCC while I work on this guy. So I'm going to start by, so yesterday what I did was I was trying to figure out how to get I knew that these clips wouldn't stay with just super glue. I knew it would be too, I was worried that I wanted him to be able to use the parts without having to worry that they're going to break off. So I didn't want to just use super glue because over time, super glue can kind of lose its strength. So what I did was I ended up using something called a Bondic Pen, which is this. And what it basically is it's like a resin pen. I've used it for a couple custom things before. back in the day, I made a Fox movie Mystique long before they made the official one. And to texture all her body with her little dots and scales, I used the Bondic Pen, just one dot at a time. But basically, what you do is it's just like a little tip. And you do your thing, and you just squeeze it. Right? And then you use this UV light to cure it. And it takes a couple seconds. I think it's meant for, I think there's lots of different uses for it, but it kind of cures, like, it's not hard. It's kind of like a mix of like hard and soft. Like if I peeled this off. Oh, whoops. Oh, what the fuck did I do? I pulled off all the paint too. So yeah, it's kind of, I don't know. It's interesting. I've actually never tried to pull that off before. Very cool. Yeah, so I use that to connect the batons, but I went a little too heavy, so I need to start by sanding those. So I'm going to take these batons off. But yeah, this is a really useful tool. I've used it for a few things. It's good for soldering if you don't have a soldering gun and you need to do basic soldering, like wires and stuff if you're doing LEDs. Pretty good. And they're inexpensive. They are, I think I bought this on Amazon for like 21 bucks Canadian. And like, there's enough in there that like, you know, like I did the whole Mystique and still had lots left over. So, but yeah, they work pretty good. I also use them for like thicken pegs. So like on my Professor Xavier figure, I had some movie electro hands, and the pegs were really thin and they weren't working with the Duke body. So I used that Bondic pen to thicken up the joint a little bit. So I'm going to use these for the first time tonight. I cannot remember if it was Star Marvel or Nico Hodge who recommended them, but these are sanding twigs. There's 25 of 5 or 4 different grits, and the idea is it's kind of like a sanding block, but it's not as bulky. It's kind of like more of a like a thin, like a little stick. Now, which ones are which? I don't know, but I want one with a medium grit. So that looks pretty thick. What is this one? Oh, changes every day. Anonymous dude. Before we get into Stcc, think fast. Top 3 Blink songs. Reckless Abandon. Dumpweed. Feeling This, maybe. Shut Up. Going Away to College. They change a lot. I'm one of those weird people who, like, I absolutely love California, which is their first album with Matt Skiba when Tom left. Like, I love it. Like, I actually might like it more than, like, some original member stuff. Like, I love it. I hate 9. The last album that came out, I do not like it. It's not good. But I love California. It's really, really good. Not the song, the album. I mean, I like the song too, but yeah. So I'm going to use this to just try to get into some of these finer points here. So that way I can, so when I used that resin pen yesterday, I was pretty sloppy with it. And the nice thing about that resin is it can be sanded. Like, it's strong enough that it can be sanded. So I'm going to sand this smooth, and then I'm going to get my Dremel out, and I'm going to try to, I think what I'm going to do is, I can't decide if I'm going to do magnets. So I have these insanely tiny magnets. I can barely see them, but they're just strong enough to like kind of hold. So I was going to put one on the end of this and inset it into the side, and then inset one into the tip of this, so that way I can just snap it on and it'll snap on and snap off. And I don't have to worry about any real pressure as I'm putting stuff in and out. So Honest Dude says, I know this girl who would love you. She adores Blink. Yeah, there's lots of Blink ladies out there. They obviously have the fan following of like a boy band because they were popular in a time where the boy band thing was really big, and then they did all the small things and made fun of the boy bands. So yeah, they have a lot of, they were like the boy band of the pop punk scene. So, but yeah, they're a big influence on me. And like I said, my appearance, my taste in music, even why I play music, honestly, that's a big part of it. My friend was like, do you want to play some Blink-182 covers with me? I have a bass guitar and bass is easy. I was like, oh, okay. So I just he kind of taught me how to read tabs and the tablature, and then we did it, and yeah, and then I started playing bass in like bands and shit, and got a little bit more detailed than that. But to be honest with you, not really. It's never really that good of a bassist. I was a good showman. Like I was good on stage. I was fun to watch. Always jumping around. Always throwing my bass everywhere. I was enjoyable. I played in a lot of like heavy bands. So like it's weird. I was a huge pop punk fan, but I didn't really play in a lot of pop punk bands. Only one. So yeah, most of the time I was playing in heavier bands. So it was pretty fun because got to throw down pretty hard on stage. It was fun. So I used to have crazy Liberty spikes too, big giant ones come off my head like 5 inches, 6 inches. Crazy. Oh, my friend, John Strand. Sorry I've been quiet in the chat. I've been working real hard on a certain punk over here. So for anybody who didn't catch the first live stream I did with Stranded Customs, he and I we did a figure swap. I did for him, what did I do for you again? Oh, I did that angel for you. So I did a Plasma Wings angel for him. And he's been working on an AOA Age of Apocalypse angel for me. And on my list, when I gave him my list, was a punk Deadpool. And he's making like an emo Deadpool for me. I gave him this like big emo fucking swoopy hair. And it looked really cool. I only saw a couple pictures of it, but yeah, it's pretty cool. This guy is always being a good human. Anonymous Dude says, I'm a jerk. I came in late when you're toying around. Let me pick your brain. Top 3 childhood franchises growing up. For me, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, G.I. Joe, X-Men. Oops. For me, and first of all, you're not a jerk. Dude, there's so much fucking content. For me, like, I can only commit to so much content. Like, it's like Dan Who. I love Dan Who, and whenever I can catch him live, I watch him. But like I don't have time to catch on all the replays, so it's like, and he goes for pretty long sometimes too, so I try to keep up on it. Like even like the enabler streams, like sometimes I don't get through all of them. They're too long. Like I don't have that kind of time, but I do catch most of the weeklies. Like I pretty much catch all the Toy Migos. I catch Toying Around pretty much weekly, and then I jump around for the rest when I have time. So don't feel bad about coming in late and just subscribing. You said that earlier. Like, dude, there's just so much. Like, you get around to what you get around to, and that's it, right? So don't feel bad. The fact that you're here right now is amazing. So thank you. That's awesome. I wondered if I'd ever see your name because I see your name everywhere else. So okay, so top 3 childhood franchises. Mine's gonna look relatively similar to you. I don't want to just X-Men, the animated series, was really the part where I really got into X-Men the most, but I always collected Marvel trading cards. So like, I can't just say X-Men, even though X-Men is my bread and butter. I really like Spider-Man a lot too, but like, I fell in love with the Marvel universe, even though I was mostly into X-Men. Marvel universe is where I really, I just loved it all. So I would say Marvel as a whole, not just X-Men. Ninja Turtles for sure. And I really like Power Rangers a lot. I really like Star Wars, but it was significantly later. Like I didn't really get into Star Wars until, I don't know, like I was 15 maybe. I was a bit older. And I'm 30. I'm 38. It took me a minute to figure that out. So yeah. So when I was about 15, I probably got into Star Wars and I fell in love with it. I was also really big into WWF when I was a kid and younger. Me and my dad and my brother would watch it all the time. These are awesome. Nico Hodge or Star Marvel. I can't remember which one of you suggested this. It was one of you guys, I think. But you even gave me the link, and these are dope. This worked perfectly. I also, while I have this all sandied up, I'm gonna just take a sandpaper to the rest of it real quick, just to, because I haven't done that yet. I am going to ultimately have to do a full sand on this when I break it down. So tomorrow, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this thing down after my final sculpt sessions are done. I'm going to sand everything, I'm going to clean everything, and then I'm going to get it ready so I can start painting it. I really like to start painting it Friday night, or tomorrow night would be great, but I'll probably spend tomorrow night getting ready to paint. So set up my airbrush booth. And, it's set up, but get everything else set up. And then I can paint this and my my figure for Morning Wolf at the same time. So good question, Anonymous too. It's a good one. I love Wild Showman and Lead Singers. Do you miss performing? It's a rush. Okay, so I miss being on stage. I don't miss everything else about being in a band. Okay, that's probably not true. I loved the camaraderie of being in a band. The problem is like, we played a lot of shows. The first band in particular I played in, we played a lot of shows. We played like every single weekend for like 2 years. Sometimes like 2 or 3 times on a weekend. Like, it was too much. And often in the same city. So it was like, in Canada, it's different than the US. Anonymous dude, I can't remember if you're Canadian or American, but in America, you can get, I know it's not like this everywhere, but like, you can hit multiple cities in like a couple hours. Here, the cities aren't really big enough to require that. So it's like, there's probably a couple places in the Toronto area, like, Toronto, Mississauga, that you could maybe spread out and do a couple shows over a couple days. But like, it's not really like that as much. Like, it's just, like if there's a show in Vancouver where I'm from, people from the surrounding area will just come to Vancouver. Our transit's good enough that like, you don't need to wait for it to go to Surrey, because you could just take a 25-minute SkyTrain ride and you're there. So yeah. But yeah, so do I miss the actual art of performing? Yeah, for sure. I love being on stage, and like, give me a microphone and I'll just talk all day long. It's funny. So that's why I always think sometimes with the live streams it works well, because it's just like, just give me a platform and I'm good to I'll just talk until you tell me to shut up. Shut up, start the song. Okay. But yeah, I do miss that part of it, but I don't miss, like, I hate setting up, I hate lugging equipment. And as a bassist, I had a pretty big speaker setup. It was not convenient to drive around. So yeah, I don't miss any of that. Load in, load out, no thank you, sound check, no thanks. None of that stuff's really that fun. Recording, oh my God. There's definitely a video out there of the last band I was in called Fane. Somewhere, I don't know where it is. I haven't seen it in a long time. There's a video of me recording, and it's got like a swearing counter on the bottom, and it's basically like a supercut of me saying like fuck, like I think it's like 50 times or something. It's pretty funny. Our drummer did it. He was really good with all that kind of shit, so it's pretty funny. Marcus E, I remember Zenpool during Axis. That was a cool, fun concept. Zenpool was that the one with the little baggy pants and kind of looked like a genie, kind of? Is that the one you were talking about? I vaguely remember the name, and I remember I was reading comics when Axis was around. So Dan Hu Pow, yeah, I love Dan Hu. He's a good dude. He's such a nice guy. We always chat about my shelves. He loves my shelves. It's great. Anonymous dude says, "Oh my goodness, if you love wrestling, we can talk for days. You're a rad dude." Dude, anytime. You just hit me up. I love talking shop. So if you're ever bored on Instagram, just hit me up. I'll chat all day long with you. Anonymous dude says, Toronto. You're from Toronto. Cool. That's awesome. Yeah, so I'm from Ontario originally, from Windsor. But Vancouver is beautiful. Every time I go back to Ontario, I'm like, I'm never coming back here, because Vancouver is just great. It's so nice. Marcus, yeah, baggy pants, gray color scheme, beads like what Akuma has. Yes, I remember that now too. Yeah, that was dope. I should make one of those one day for my Deadpool shelf. Okay, I think I'm mostly done sanding here. So I have a little cup of water. Where did I put that toothbrush? I have this toothbrush that I use to clean stuff off. Just before I start working, I'm just going to give it just a quick clean here. Again, it doesn't really matter because I'm still going to do a good clean before I start painting anyway, but just to try to eliminate spreading more dust all over the place. There we go. That worked good. Those things are holding nicely too, so that's really nice. The grippers, I was worried. I wasn't sure how well the Bondic stick, the Bondic gun or whatever pen would hold, but it seems like it's holding pretty well. Put a bit of pressure on it last night, just to see, and it was like, yeah, it's pretty on there. Unless it takes a shelf dive or something, it should be okay. Okay, we're going to do that because we're going to be working on that chest. We're also going to be working on that helmet. There is a line that I want to see if I can make a little bit more pronounced on the helmet. Next week when I do this, it'll actually focus and you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. But there's this line on the helmet, and it's just a little bit more pronounced on one side. I tried to sand this down, but I started losing too much detail. So I'm going to try to just sharpen that edge really, if I can. If I can, I'm not super worried about it. And then, like I said, I have to fill in. I got some holes on the shoulders here. And again, I use that Bondic pen to fill in the base of it, so that way it doesn't kind of indent when I put epoxy on it. And I also did it on the sides as well. So yeah, so I'm going to just basically fill in the gaps on the torso where I had to crack it. And then do some detailing on the chest because he's got like chest armor. And then that's pretty much it. Oh, and then the knees, yeah. So John Strand. Except for Matt is a coward and he won't watch wrestling anymore. It's weird. So this is what happened with wrestling and me. Strand, I think I might have told you this, but so I used to watch it religiously. I watched Raw and SmackDown every week. I can't honestly remember how long it was. I want to say I probably stopped in 2006, maybe. I honestly don't even remember when I left, but they hadn't bought WCW yet. It was still separate. And I went to Myrtle Beach with my mom and dad and brother. And I missed Raw for 2 weeks. The way it landed, I missed it. We left on the Monday and came back the Monday or something, and I missed it. And after I missed those 2 episodes, I never watched it again. It's just like I missed 2, and I was like, I'm out. I just lost interest. It was weird because I was collecting the toys and stuff at the time. So, yeah, I just kind of got out of it and stopped, and yeah. Marcus E says, I used to go to Toronto every summer as a kid. Canada's a nice place. Yeah, man. I love being Canadian. I love living in Canada. I've spent a lot of time in the States growing up. I spent a ton of time in Detroit because I was living in a border city to Detroit. So yeah, I was always over there. And yeah, I feel bad for what's happening in America right now because it seems like the general public not to get political, it seems like the general public aren't really happy with what the fuck's going on. And as an outsider, that's so fucking close. It's sad, really sad to see that while the rest of the world moves forward, America seems to want to keep moving backwards. Kind of a shame. But I don't know. Like I have friends who are talking to me about seriously trying to move to Canada because they're like, I have kids, I have daughters, I don't wanna them to be second-class citizens and have no say in the matter. Like it's fucking wild. It's pretty crazy. That's my politics for tonight. Thank you. Thanks for coming. Strand says, I love AEW so much. I watch WWE PPVs, but not weekly. Yeah, there'd just be a lot of content, right? I've heard a lot of good about AEW, but, you know, the fact of the matter is like, a lot of my love for wrestling is not the wrestling, it's the nostalgia. So, like, I went back and watched a bunch of WWE pay-per-views when I went home to Ontario last and hung out with my buddy Moose Milk Ryan. We watched Royal Rumble, and then I ended up watching a bunch of stuff, and then I almost started collecting WWE Ultimate figures because they're awesome, and I was like, good lord, I'm nostalgic for like, you know, late 90s Attitude Era WWF. But yeah, I controlled myself, thankfully. Anonymous dude, Marcus E is the man. Knives Out, Tuesday crew. Always got the great lines in the chat. Marcus is a regular here, so I very much appreciate him. I always love seeing the Toy Migo people's names show up in chat. It's always really awesome. Makes me happy. Marcus said, yeah, I'm considering moving to Canada sometime in the future. It's just too chaotic here. Yeah, I agree with you, man. There's a lot of great places in Canada, even some of the more remote spots. I haven't actually been to the East Coast, but I've seen tons of pictures. I've heard it's absolutely beautiful. And it's actually pretty cheap to live in, like, Nova Scotia. You know, like, my buddy found a humongous house. It was like 3,000 square feet on like 8 acres of land, and it was like $320,000 or something like that. And it's like, that's Canadian too, right? So that's not even American. Like, your money's worth more than ours is. So, but yeah, pretty wild. So right now, for anybody who's wondering, I'm just mixing. This is epoxy sculpts. So you basically just mix equal parts of both, and you get this epoxy, that this sculpting medium that holds detail really well. It's very easy to work with, in my opinion, and is very forgiving. And it dries in about, you can sculpt it. When you're like molding it and stuff, you probably only have about an hour and 15 minutes time with it. You can probably sculpt detail into it up until about 2 hours, maybe a little bit less, depending on how fresh or how old it is. So I always mix it with gloves, but I always work barehanded. So yeah, this is well mixed. I'm good here. Anonymous dude, love to strong women. Fuck yeah, dude. I always say the world would be a way better place if women ran it, because they are just so much more level-headed than guys. Strand, bro, the Undertaker WrestleMania special came out when Jack was born. I watched Taker matches every night. Oh, nice. I actually just watched that Hell in the Cell with Foley and him, where he like broke Foley's skull or whatever. It's fucking nuts. Like, I get that wrestling is fake, but like, you can't fake that. Like, that's just like insane. Like, is it scripted? Yeah. Is it like soap operas? But like, yeah, it's crazy, man. It's so fucking wild. Oh, you know what I should have probably done before I did this? I should have probably drilled those holes. Let's see, what do I have to do? Blending first. Okay, I'm gonna blend while this is fresh. So usually what they say with epoxy sculpt is you let it sit for 20 minutes and then you start working with it. I find it super easy to work with when it's really, really soft, especially if you're filling like peg holes or like. So what I'm doing is I'm going to fill the seams where I cracked it, because when I put it back together, I got it mostly together, but there is a little bit of a gap. So because whatever. So I'm going to fill these holes. I'm going to fill that all in. And it's way easier to blend when it's fresh. But then I'm going to go under the drill bit and add the hole for the magnet, I think. I'm just worried about this coming off, but if it comes off, it comes off. I'll have to fix it after. Marcus says, I remember sailing to New Brunswick and Grand Manan, BC. Oh, because I wasn't able to sail to Nova Scotia, ironically. Grand Manan, where is that? I don't know where Grand Manan is. Yeah, I've never been out on the East Coast. I've only seen pictures and it looks beautiful. We were actually going to go this summer. We're actually going to go next month, my wife and I, because we were originally going to go to Europe and it was expensive because like, everything's going up right now, right? So, so we were going to originally do Europe, and then we were like, we can't afford it. Let's just do East Coast Canada. It's something we both have wanted to do. And then And then we saw the prices for rental cars, and it was actually cheaper to just go to Amsterdam. So we just decided to go to Amsterdam. It's like cheaper to go to Amsterdam than it is to go to fucking East Coast Canada. I think we were looking at what's it called? Newfoundland. So this is rubbing alcohol. You know, this is mostly for Anonymous Dude, just so he knows what I'm doing, because he is new here. Marcus has been here a few times. I'm sure he's probably heard me talk about my love for this rubbing alcohol and blending with epoxy sculpt. I say it a lot when I'm working with this. So yeah, so I'm using this rubbing alcohol and I'm blending the edges into the existing sculpt, so that way when I paint it, it doesn't look like I just stuck a glob of epoxy on there. And I'm trying to thin it out as much as possible. I don't need to be able to see it. I want it to blend into the sculpt. And in doing so, I'm also filling in some of the musculature, which is good because it allows it to look more like it's like a suit and not like a skin type spandex thing. There we go. Okay, nice. Strand says, dude, my white epoxy is dog shit. Did I tell you I bought black? I haven't used it yet. I haven't cracked it open yet, but it was the only thing I could get at one point. So I got it, and by the time I needed to open it, I got more of the gray in. Gray is definitely my preferred color, but there is definitely a difference between white and gray. I feel like white is like messier to work with. It's like softer. It mixes softer. Even when you mix it with the stiffer, more of the stiffer stuff, it's still, I find it's still a bit much. But yeah, I like the gray epoxy sculpt the best myself, but I haven't tried anything other than white and gray. So I have black. I haven't cracked it open yet, but I'm gonna next time I'm almost out of this stuff. I'm probably got another couple months worth of work in it, and I'll be switching it out. So yeah, I remember when Draven bought that big 3-pound one and like used it until like he just finished it. It took him like 2 years to go through. It's like, dude, how could you use that stuff for 2 years? It gets stiff and it's not easy to work with. Your table time goes from like an hour to like 20 minutes. Like, it's fucked. But I'm just brushing this with rubbing alcohol just to soften the edges. And usually if I sculpt detail into something and it's like really, really abrasive and harsh and like stands out, I'll use a brush with rubbing alcohol on it to like soften all the edges and chill it the fuck out. There we go. Strand says, I can't believe that match exists. Yeah, the Foley Undertaker Hell in a Cell. It's wild, eh? It isn't fake. It's predetermined. Well stated. Anonymous Dude. Okay, Matchu and Strand. Favorite wrestling match? Me, Hogan vs. Warrior, WrestleMania 6. I don't know if I could just pick a favorite. So I think Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Survivor Series, where the great screw job happened, where Shawn Michaels made Bret submit with the sharpshooter. That's definitely up there. I'm a huge Bret Hart fan. So what else? And honestly, I liked a lot of the hardcore matches back in the day. I was a huge fan of the Hardy Boys. I really liked the Hardy Boys. They were fucking nuts. Yeah, specifics, it's hard to remember. I have a bad memory. I'm a huge pothead, so I tend to lose the details a lot of the times. So yeah, but I would say the one that really always stands out to me is that Bret Hart Shawn Michaels match. It's a doozy. Yeah, I also really liked Jake the Snake and Macho Man when Jake had the snake bite Randy Savage. That was a good one too. I don't remember when that was. Summer. I want to say it was like a SummerSlam maybe, but I couldn't tell you the year. Lose track. Strand, what do you got for that? There's got to be answers. You guys are going like crazy. Oh my goodness. Marcus says Grand Manan is an island. All I remember is that there was a ship that said Grand Manan V or 5, and I thought it said Grand Manani. Oh, that's a good one, Strand. Bret Hart versus Stone Cold, WrestleMania 13. Good one. Stone Cold and Bret had an awesome feud too, for sure. Anonymous dude says, Matchu, what do you think of the sculpts for Mythic Legions? Are you a fan of Four Horsemen toy makers? I don't necessarily follow Four Horsemen toy makers. Mythic Legions is not for me. I'm not a fantasy kind of guy. Even the sci-fi stuff looks really cool, but the problem is my shelves don't have space for things that I just think look cool, as much as I love how some stuff looks. There was some of the, what do they call them, Cosmic Legions? There were some of the Cosmic Legions that called out to me, but I behaved and I didn't get into it. It's a deep hole, and I just don't have the money. I ultimately don't have the space before I don't have the money. Even like seeing a lot of the NECA stuff I love the NECA Toon Turtle line. Love it. It's one of my favorite lines. But we're at the point now with the stuff they showed tonight. It's all stuff that's like uncharted territory for me. Like a lot of my love for Turtles, like I do remember the cartoon, but like my love for Turtles mostly came from the Playmates figures. So it's like I do love the Super 7 figures, but I like the depth of the line of the Toon Turtles better, like the NECA ones. And I also like the movement on them better. And I shouldn't say the accessories on the Super 7 are really fantastic. I opened Donatello on Toying Around's Unboxing Thursday. And then the next day I ordered Leonardo and Raph. So I was originally just going to do Donnie. And then I was like, yeah, I can't just do Donnie. These are way too sick. So I still got to find Mikey for a reasonable price. I don't want to pay aftermarket prices for them. If I can get them at retail or below, like what I did with Leo and Raph was Toy Snowman had a Canadian detailer had a 15% off all in stock sale. So I bought both of them for 15% off. So it was pretty good. Or 15 or 10, I can't remember. But yeah, so that's what I did. So I'm going to put this down just a bit. So yeah, Mythic Legions look really great, but I just don't have the space, and I don't have the space for it, and the attachment, really. Marcus says, I've been working on minor custom stuff like making weapons and armor, but after trying to make robot arms and failing, I feel that perfectionist urge to pause and not go back to it. So I think the thing I like to tell new customizers, the most is always start achievable. So I had somebody reach out to me one day and ask me to make them Rhino from the Amazing Spider-Man 2 movie. And then they're like, I'm going to start customizing, and I'm going to start by making an Amazing Spider-Man 2 Rhino. And I'm like, as a somewhat skilled customizer, like I wouldn't touch that project with a 10-foot pole. I cannot imagine the grief somebody would have by starting with that choice. Like, it's just, why would you ever do that to yourself? But I guess some people are crazy. I don't know. I don't have answers. So I would just say start achievable. Like, the thing is you want to build yourself up in bits. So like, you do something. What I always used to do is I would finish a project and I would say, what's my favorite thing about this project that I did? What's my least favorite thing about this project that I did? And I try to make sure that when I do my next custom, both of those things are present. So like, the thing I loved about the previous one, that's present on the next one. The thing I hated about the previous one has been corrected to the best of my abilities for the next one. So like, over the last year, face painting has been something that like I hate doing face painting, I'm getting better at it because that's been my point of, that's where I've been working at trying to get better. So yeah, so I would say keep it achievable. If you are getting frustrated, step away and just, you don't need to go back to it right now. You can just put it in a box and forget about it. Go back to something that's going to build up your confidence, build up some momentum for you, and then go back and revisit it when the time is right. But as soon as you start to get frustrated, so I'll give you another example. I'm running the Legendary Secret Santa this year, which is Legendary Summer Swap, is just wrapping up now. Our buddy Josh Draven Arts on Instagram, he ran Summer Swap, and then Ethan Supley Customs and I run Secret Santa. This was the first year we did it on Instagram, and so we have a group chat. We were talking about it earlier, and Draven is currently working on a Supergirl figure, and it's amazing. It's got like light up. It's amazing. Like, it's seriously so fucking good. And he was getting frustrated because he was doing the eyes and he kept fucking them up, and he kept sending them to us. And he's like, I'm getting so frustrated. And I was like, dude, put it down and come back to it like tomorrow or tonight. Like, leave it alone for a little bit. Like, you just need to like let it go for a few minutes, right? And it's just like, sometimes that's what you got to do. You just got to step away. You can't let it ruin you, because like, it's just not going to do you any favors. So put it away. Don't stop. Just, yeah, work your way back to that piece. And when you get there, you'll be refreshed. Hopefully you'll be feeling more confident if you're doing stuff that's within your abilities. And then, you'll get there eventually, man. Seriously. And also, if you ever get stuck and you would have questions, you are also welcome to hit me up anytime. More than happy to try to walk you through anything I can. So, Anonymous Dude says, Strand, bro, great taste. That is like my number one, my 1A or almost one. Bret Hart, beat him down. Bloody Skull Sharpshooter. The feud was incredible. Yeah, man, that was so good. Yeah, wasn't that when we got America versus Canada in WWF? I think it was. I think that was when they were really pushing that whole America versus Canada fucking feud, which was so dope. But it's funny because it's like, most of the shows happened in the US, so it's like most of the time Canada were the heels because they're in the US. I mean, Bret was a heel at that time, but even in Canada, we still loved him. So, Bret Hart, that was a good one. I found a Bret Hart Ultimate figure for $90 complete out of package. I was so close to buying it. I was like, oh man, I'd love to have that. But I behaved. I didn't do it. Wanted to, but didn't. Right now I'm just putting this on here, and I will sculpt it to where I need it to be. But right now I'm just building up the chest. And again, add more to it, blend it into the existing sculpt. I'm gonna just get it to where I mostly want it, and then drill the holes, and then. Okay, so I got that, and I have knees to do too. I'm not looking forward to doing the knees. Anonymous Dude says, watch Foley Taker Hell in the Cell live. Whoa, really? Oh, wait, you watched it on pay-per-view, I see. When I think I was watching that one as well. When Foley soared off the cage, I stood up. It was really nuts. Yeah. On TV, okay, yeah, cool. Kyle Brown, hello, sir. Evening, man. Oh, what's up, dude? Pixel Phantom 85 here. How you doing tonight? Or how's your night going? It's going good. Doing good, man. Doing good. So for anybody who doesn't know, Pixel Phantom is a customizer. He's actually going to be partaking this year in the Legendary Secret Santa figure swap. So if you guys aren't following that page, we're just wrapping up summer swap. There's still 2 more reveals or 1 more reveal, maybe. I can't remember. I didn't really have anything to do with that one other than participating. But yeah, so keep an eye out for that one. It's going far. It's going to Malta, so it might still be a minute before it gets there. So yeah, it's a really fun event. I'll kind of run down what I do once I catch up on these comments here. They showed more. What are you talking about? Are you talking about the match? Anonymous Dude says, love to get your thoughts on Chris Jericho. Like you, and a great band and amazing wrestling legend. Why do you think he's so effective as a performer? John, you can answer that too. John, you've been granted permission. I used to love Chris Jericho. I was never huge into WCW, but what I did like about WCW was I really liked Jericho, the Jericho, Malenko, Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio kind of feud that we had going on there for a bit. That was pretty cool. Yeah, I like Jericho. I can't speak to him in AEW because I don't watch it. But I was a huge Jericho fan. I felt like he could have been way more utilized in the WWE than he was. I think he's super charismatic, and I think that translates very well. I feel like he is very easy to like when he's a face, and I think he's very easy to hate when he's a heel. So I think that works in his favor. Yeah, that's my thoughts on Jericho. I love Jericho. He's a great performer, and he's Canadian, which works wonders for me. So yeah. Marcus says, yeah, right. I think I'll just stick to accessories for now. I actually enjoyed it and found success so far. Not trying to jinx it though. Yeah, like I said, just stick with what you can do. The idea is to have fun. Like, as much as this hobby has kind of it's not really a job this year because I haven't done any commissions, but it can be a job sometimes because I take commissions. But I'm very fortunate in that, like, okay, so like I'm fortunate that I have a great real job. But the unfortunate part about that is like I could never do customizing as a living. Like I get enough requests that I could keep myself busy. It's not the keeping busy part. The problem is like I make really good money in what I do in my real job, and like I don't think any amount of customizing would be able to supplement that. So I love that I make money and do well. But yeah, it sucks that customizing as a job is not really an option for me. It's not something I could ever do. Like I could just never give up. I mean, I guess it's good if something ever happened where I lost my job, but I just, my companies, they don't really get rid of a lot of people. And, I mean, they wouldn't have a reason to get rid of me, not to toot my own horn, but I'm good at what I do. So, yeah. So I can never customize for a living, but like I definitely get enough requests. Like I get, I probably get a good 5 to 10 commission requests a week. So like I had 2 today, just today. Yeah, I could keep busy if I needed to, but yeah, the idea is if you're not having fun, then it becomes a chore. This is not an easy hobby, so when you feel like you have to do stuff, it loses its luster. So I actually got to the point when I was doing more commissions. There was a point where I was able to take on more commissions. I just had more time and whatever that's happening in life. But I got to the point where like I would take commissions and they would just go on a list and I would just do them. And it's like, even if it was shit I didn't want to do, I was doing it. And it's just not a good way to operate. So yeah, I'm at the point now where like I don't work on something if I don't enjoy it. There's certain things that I enjoy more. Like, I get asked a lot. I get asked very regularly for original characters. People will reach out to me and ask me to do like characters they've created or comic book artists have drawn. And it's not that anything against them. They look cool, but the problem is without attachment to some of these things, like it's a hard commitment because I lose my speed. Like I lose the interest, and then I end up like not really, I don't know. It's if I hit a stump, I struggle to get out of it because I feel like I just don't have the attachment. So yeah, I don't know. It's okay. It's fine. But yeah, so I kind of only take on projects that like appeal to me. If it doesn't appeal to me, there's not a chance that I don't care enough to deal with it. So I don't do it. God, I'm so behind. Okay, I'm gonna just quickly stop for a second and just try to bang out some of these comments to catch up, because I'm not used to having this much activity. Anonymous dude says, tell us about your toy customs journey. First line collected, what pulled you into customs? Okay, so first line I collected when I was a kid was like Ninja Turtles, probably He-Man first, Masters of the Universe, then Ninja Turtles, then wrestling for sure. The Hasbro WWF figures with the action features were my jam. I got into customizing because I got to the point where I was super poor for a long time. Spent my money stupidly when I was in a band, got myself into a lot of financial debt, and just I was done with my money. Whatever, we all do it. We're young, and that's what happens. So once I had money again, I started buying comic books. I got into comic books again. And I loved it because I started by reading modern comics, and then I started going back and reading older comics, like more classic, like Claremont era X-Men, which I fucking love. And then I started collecting Marvel Legends. I actually started with Marvel Select, but I didn't like how they didn't really move that much, and I saw how good the Marvel Legends were, so I was like, ooh, I should get into those. But I didn't get into the Marvel Legends stuff until the Ultimate Green Goblin wave. That was my first entry into it. I got that Carnage. I saw it in a store, and I was just like, I'm going to buy this because this looks so cool. And he looks like he moves and whatever. And I started customizing because at that time, Marvel was not pushing X-Men at all, and X-Men is my bread and butter. So what ended up happening was I had all these wants for Marvel Legends for X-Men figures that were never coming because, like, at that time, they were pretty strict on not doing X-Men because that was during that time when Marvel was pushing the Inhumans and not pushing the X-Men because they didn't have the rights. So I kind of had this hole on my shelf that I wanted X-Men on that I couldn't get. So I literally customized every single character from Blue and Gold Team, and then moved on to X Factor, and then started to move on to X Force before I was like, okay, these guys are making these all now. I need to stop because this is just overkill, and like I'm just basically making customs and then they come out. So I stopped. And that's kind of why I got into customs. So I would say it was all because Hasbro wasn't doing X-Men. If they would have been doing X-Men, I don't know that I would have ever got into customs because it was just like I loved the new base bodies they were using. Like I liked how they were. I didn't like the Toy Biz, the ball joints that they used. I was not a fan of those on the thighs. And so I wanted something that looked more like those more modern Marvel Legends, and I didn't have them. So that's why I started customizing. That was the beginning of the end. Marcus said, I'm actually getting back to the robot arm, feeling motivated, so thank you. Yeah, that's great to hear. That's awesome. What's the robot arm for? What are you working on? Is it for Mythic Legions? Robot arms, I'm going to be doing a robot arm myself pretty soon. I'm going to be doing a Death Locket for my buddy Ethan Supley Customs, my partner in crime on Secret Santa. We're going to do a one-on-one swap. I went a little too crazy on the one-on-one swaps this year, so I couldn't really do any commissions because I did too many. So next year I'm not doing any. I'm just gonna do my one with Seth with New Collector because we always do it. He's my constant, and I don't plan on stopping that. So next year will be just one with Seth, and then the year after I'll come back to it, and if I'm still going, which I hope I am. Yeah. But next year, I think I'm going to focus on commissions and making a Generation X custom team. That's my next big project for customs. I'm going to fill out my ranks on my AOA shelf and do a Generation X team. I already have a Penance that was made by Pimp Particles. He did that for me. And I also have a Mondo coming made by Joe Ward. So yeah, so I'm a little bit ahead there, but I think I need to get a new brush. That brush's bristles are pretty tough, so it's not really smoothing as much as it's making a mess. It's good. Strat says Jericho is the best, dude. One of my top 5 forever. And he's Canadian, so that's good. I'm having sadness about not joining this year. Well, I mean, it's still open. We got another week. We got some really good names. Let's talk about Secret Santa. We got some really good names. So Fan Plastic 4 signed up today. He's a digital he's a sculptor for, I want to say, 4 Horsemen and Super 7, I think. He is joining us this year. He officially signed up today. I'm working on Morning Wolf joining. I think I'm going to get him to join. I think he's going to join up. He hasn't yet, but I'm pretty sure he's going to. I am working on trying to get Pim Particles to join us again, but he's pretty busy with work, but I'm working on it. And I'm really trying to get Christina Conan to join us. I usually send her a message and get a no because she's just too busy. But I kind of got the vibe that she actually wanted to this year. So I'm really, really hoping that she's in. Oh, and I think Face Customs, who joined us for his first time last year, is joining us again. So again, another insanely talented customizer. So there's some really. Oh, and Daryl Turn, Blueberry Customs, he's coming back. He's been out of the event for a few years now, 3 years now. He is coming back this year, so that's also exciting. Yeah, so anybody customizer out there who is, inexperienced, it is for all levels, but to be honest, we are looking for someone who can put together a figure that you can move without, paint falling off and shit like that. So yeah, if you are one of those and you're wanting to try something cool, this is a really cool opportunity for you to showcase your work on a grander scale, get your figure into somebody else's hands, and it's a really fun event, honestly. This is our first year doing Secret Santa on Instagram. We have forever done it on the Foosh forums, but the problem with the Foosh forums is they are not much of a help to us when it comes to trying to get signups. So people will sign up, they sign up on the forum, and in order to post, they need to be approved by an admin. The problem is the admins don't really pay attention on that stuff, and we have people who sign up in August, and when they go to post pictures in December, they're still not approved. And we reach out, and we don't really get any help. We don't really get any answers. It's just, nope, whatever. And it's like, dude, we're driving traffic to your website. Like the least you could do is just approve our participants. Like, just let them post. Like, not even asking for anything. And they just don't fucking want to help. So I was like, what are we doing? Why are we sending people here? Like, let's just do it on Instagram. The messaging system on the Foosh is shit. And it's just like, this is not a trash on the Foosh, honestly. It's just an outdated system. And it was time for us to move away from it. Like, it's too outdated for what we want to do. So we moved it to Instagram, and we merged with Draven. So Draven had been doing the summer swap on the Foosh forum, which has always run independently from Secret Santa. So there was never any association. Wes, Ethan Supley Customs, always ran some Secret Santa, and he did it alone until last year. I reached out the year before and said, if you ever want help, man, like, I'm super organized, I'm a good communicator, I could definitely help you. And so last year he took me up on it, and then this, I kind of put the bug in his ear and said, like, look, we should start looking at moving this from the Foosh and putting it onto a different avenue where we can get more traffic and makes more sense and easier to communicate. So we've done it. We're doing it on Instagram. It's at Legendary Secret Swap, and if you follow that, you will see as the reveals happen, we'll be posting them on there. So I mean, there's really, like I said, one more reveal for summer, two more reveals for Summer Swap, and then we won't see reveals until December. But over the next week or so, to try to get more participants, I'm going to start featuring artists. So I'm going to start featuring people who are participating. So there's about 30 people right now. I really wanted to get us to 50 this year. I don't think that's going to happen. The interesting thing is a lot of the people who are regulars for these events are actually bowing out, mostly because of just life being busy, people moving, people getting new jobs, people having kids, and just not being able to commit to a timeline. But the cool thing is if they come back next year when things normalize for some of them, and we are able to keep some of the new people that we brought in this year, I mean, we could have a super event next year, which would be really, really cool. So Strand, think about it. I'm just saying. I can get my angel next year. I've already waited a year, so it's fine. Anonymous dude. Oh, he's talking about, we're talking, for anybody who just joined in, Anonymous dude and Strand and I have been talking about WWF wrestling. He said, Austin, it's not over, Brett. It's not over until I say it's over. Brett was like, do you want to tag on your toe when I'm done with you? Man, that was a great rivalry. I loved it. Oh, showed more content was about NECA Turtles. Oh, nice. I did see some Mirage stuff before I came on to more Mutant. So Kyle's jumping in on Pixel Phantom says, my top guy was always going to be Brett, shortly followed by Sting. So insane that he's still going as strong as he is. I didn't know Sting was still active. That's bonkers. So Kyle, you missed it, but I had said that I've dropped off wrestling a long time ago, and just recently I started watching old pay-per-views from WWF. Kind of re-sparked some love for me. The kid in me will always be a Hogan mark, but the realist in me says, fuck Terry. Yeah, I heard he's kind of a dick. I've heard he's like not a good person. I was never a Hogan fan, always a Warrior fan. I did like some of his team ups. I liked like him and Brutus, Beefcake. I was a big Beefcake fan. Strand says, dude, Sting's my number one. His AEW work is actually so good. He's wild. Oh, crazy. I didn't even know he was still doing it. Also, not a Sting fan ever because I wasn't WCW, but anonymous dude says, Brett knew how to really wrestle. When you wrestled him, you knew you were in good hands. One of his claims to fame was he never hurt anyone he ever wrestled against. Surfer Sting is underrated. Sting class act. That was when I liked Sting, was when he was Surfer Sting, because that was really one of the only WCW staples I knew. Toy TV greater than cable TV. Toying around, Dan Who, Toy Migos, ACBA, and so much more. What are your thoughts on the state of the YouTube toy community? I don't think it's ever been stronger. I think it's great. We've also got new stuff. Is it Lost Cause? That's the one with 78 points and Toy Farce and Omar and his name is slipping my name. He just did that so awesome Pink Skull Dio. Why can't I remember his name right now? Somebody help me out. He's part of Lost Soul or Lost Collective or whatever that Saturday night show is. It's a newer one. It just started. I cannot remember his name. Oh, Johnny Number Cinco. So yeah, lots of good stuff. And like, I don't Discord because if I did, my wife would divorce me because she already thinks I spend too much time talking about toys with strangers on the internet. So yeah, thoughts on the community is it's never been stronger, and the more the merrier, man. It's awesome. Like I said, it's nice to see people in here that names I recognize from Toy Migos, from Toying Around. So another one that I have never really gotten into, but I need to, and I know that when I do, it's going to be problematic, is Wade, because I love Wade's review. I've just never watched his live streams. I love his attitude. I love I just find it so fucking funny. And I know that if I jump into that, it's going to be another thing I have to watch every week. So yeah, I'm kind of holding back, but I do watch his YouTube reviews and stuff. I quite like, again, I like that Wade will just say it like it is. I quite like that. So yeah, there's so much good stuff out there. Marcus says the Inhumans push was so poorly done, in my opinion. Like, they tried an AVX like event, but that was forgettable. Now they're doing Eternals, X-Men, Avengers. Yeah. I dropped off of modern comics because it was just like it lost the thing that I loved the most about the old comics. Like, I loved how the old comics would be like, would reference something and be like, see this story if you want to know more. And it's like, I felt like there was just this one big continuity, and like I got sick of the restarts. It's like, okay, we're doing episode or issue 1 again, and it's like, dude, you're on issue 13. Like, do we really need to restart? Like, you literally are just getting off the ground. What the fuck are you doing? And I really struggled with that. I lost interest. It's like I had to keep restarting, and I was just, and I know it's not a new story, but I know the idea is that they do that for new viewers to kind of be able to say like, oh, it's not daunting to like jump into. You can kind of just jump in at number 1 and whatever. But that reason was what actually stopped me from continuing to read comics. I was just like, this is weak, and this is not in any way appealing. I don't want to restart every 14 episodes or 14 issues. Like, hot pass. Like, no thank you. So yeah, I kind of got out of it for that reason. I just said, nah, fuck it. So, and then I went back to reading more classic stuff. Figured I might as well. So that actually turned out good for my first attempt. This still needs to go into more of a point though. Basing it off of the image I'm looking at on my screen here. Fuck, I have to get up early again tomorrow to go to work. Not really want to. I'm like a baker who complains about having to get up early. It's like literally unheard of. Like, I told someone today, I'm like, oh man, I've been having to get up early. And they're like, oh, like 4? And I'm like, no, like I got here at 7. They're like, dude, what's wrong with you? You're a fucking baker. Like, you live in the night. That's how it works. Or you live in the morning. Like, that's your job warrants you being here in the morning. I'm just like, yeah, but I don't get to stay up and customize when I do that. So it's not as good. My nighttime is when I customize, right? That's when I get the most of my work done. So cool. That looks mostly good. It's a little soft on the edges though. I'm probably going to have to hit it with an X-Acto blade when it dries. I don't want to try to fix it because it looks mostly good enough. And I keep saying I'm going to stop and just read comments, but then I start talking and start working again. I'm doing really great. The robot arms are for an original character I'm making for my team of Misfit Toys. Ooh, I would love to see that. You should send me a picture or post it on Instagram. Do I have you on Instagram? I don't know if I do. Maybe I do. I think I do. Anonymous Dude says, question, you're the right guy to ask. Do you think toys will ever be wildly accepted by society? Will it be cool? Will you ever see rock stars partying with models and action figures? Yeah, no, I don't really think so. But I will say that, like, you know, for the longest time, I was very quiet about what I did as a hobby. Like, I didn't talk about my customizing. Now, I'll bring it up whenever I can. So I would say it's more widely accepted now than it was even like 5 years ago. I don't think as a whole it will ever be seen as, because it's one of those niche things, right? It's like Lego collectors, Beanie Baby collectors, baseball card collectors. It's all relative. It's all the same. It's just different things that suck your money up. That's all. So yeah, I don't know. I don't really see it ever being widely accepted. No, not really. I mean, I don't think you would. I guess what I'm saying is like, I don't think anybody would be like, oh, you collect toys, you're a loser. Like, I don't think it's like that anymore. I think people just, especially as we've aged and like the prominent age group changes. Yeah, I don't see that being the case. But I mean, I'm sure there still is people who are like, you're such a loser because you play with toys. It's like, well, I'd rather spend my money on toys than go out and drink it away every weekend. So that's just me. But yeah, I don't know. But no, I don't ultimately ever see it being like super widely. But I mean, I think Funko Pops are a good example of how acceptable we've got it to. We've got it to the point where we have Funko Pops for like literally every property on the planet. And it's like, you know, those are for everyday people. That's why they do that. They do it so that way people who watch The Office can be like, hey, I have a Dwight Schrute toy on my desk. And it's like, you know, that's entry level collectibles is what that is. And actually, to be honest with you, before I got back into comics and action figures, I was buying select Funko Pops because they had shit from every property that I loved. I am a huge Arrested Development fan. I bought a Tobias Funko Pop. You know, I am a huge Big Lebowski fan. I bought a Dude Funko Pop. That's where I started. I mean, I got out of it very quickly before I spent a lot of money on it, which is good. But yeah, they're entry level. So I do think it's more available to people, therefore being more accessible. But yeah, I don't think it'll ever be considered like rock star cool. I think those are very different things. John says I'm already in for next year, still thinking about this year. Yeah, don't overcommit. But I mean, if you did jump in, that would be lots of fun. It'd be lovely to have you. Anonymous dude says Unparalleled Universe is a star. Knives Out. Yeah, thanks, Marcus. The Tuesday Crew live streams are fucking wild. It's a whole other rabbit hole. Enter with caution. See, there you go. But I do. I will eventually get there. I just know as soon as I start, I'm in real big trouble. So, yeah, I've heard. I mean, I've seen like Plasty posts those, and a couple other people post them as well. I see lots of like little clippings of stuff, right? So it's like I know what he's about, and I know again from watching his reviews, I know I like his Instagram page. I like when he does his underappreciated figures, and he does like a little spotlight on them on his Instagram. I love those. I think that's such a cool and smart idea. Yeah, I love everything Wade is doing. I can't commit full time to it because I don't have the time. But yeah, I will eventually get over there because, like I said, he makes me laugh. He reminds me of like one of my friends. So it's, yeah. Marcus E says, yeah, there are comic events every year. It's too much. Like, how often is the universe in danger because of Doctor Doom or Darkseid? Yeah, exactly. And they're all like, they all sell them as like this like world changing thing, and it's like, good lord, again? Like, hard pass. We're good. I'm good. I'm good on all that. On all that. I'm not liking this one that I'm working on here. Oh, I got to the bottom. That's good. I said, yeah, I did. Great. Awesome. Anonymous dude says, do you ever feel overwhelmed with the information age? How do you prioritize your entertainment these days? I don't do it good enough. I don't do a good enough job. Like even today, I came home from work. I took a nap. I got up. I cooked dinner. And as I was cooking dinner, all the Stcc stuff started getting revealed. And I was like freaking out about how I wasn't staying up to date with it because it was happening. And I could just see the messages lining up from my friends. Look at this, look at this, look at this. And yeah, it can be very overwhelming for sure. But again, similar to what I was talking about with toys earlier. That's the part where you need to just stand back and just be like, okay, this shouldn't be something that gives me anxiety, and I just need to stand back and let it all play out. So yeah, so I kind of just put my phone down, and I was like, I will get through all this later. And that's what I did. After dinner, I sat on Instagram for about 20 minutes. I caught up with my messages. I looked through a couple feeds in particular to see what was being shown. And I kind of just went from there. So, yeah. Anonymous dude says, we can make it cool. All we need is Drake or LeBron to show up at a party with a Marvel legend. Hey, tell those guys to come and hang out, and I will make them a Marvel legend. Anonymous dude says, Wade's really down to earth and good, man. He says himself, if he's being sassy, he's joking. His favorite character is Captain America. That says a lot. Yeah, I know he's a big Cap fan. Yeah, everything I have watched, like I said, like I love his reviews for that reason. He's straight to the point. He doesn't sugarcoat it. If there's an issue, he's going to talk about it, and I quite like that. I also like the detail that he goes into about the figures as well. So yeah, he's good for that. So one day I will get over there. And again, a lot of the names that I see for with the Knives Out, the Tuesday crew, there are a lot of people who I always enjoy them in the chat. So the Toy Migos and the toying around and all that stuff, right? So yeah, it's cool. It's cool. It's a good group, it seems like. But again, it seems like all these groups are so good. Like the Toy Migos, you know, like I love those guys, man. They're great humans. They're passionate about what they talk about, and they're funny. Like I love the dynamic between Ernie and all of them, really. But Ernie and Adam, I think it's just the fucking best. It's so funny, and I'm always laughing my ass off when I'm watching. Like it's great content. It's really, really funny. Like I must have went the night I was on Toying Around. When I went back and watched it, I was crying laughing at when Ernie was talking about his haul. I had sent him a little book of boba tea enamel pin that I found when I was in Atlanta. And he was like, I got a package from Customsbymatchu. He's on Toyings Around tonight, and they just like ripped him in half. And it was like I had tears coming down my eyes. I was fucking laughing so goddamn hard. It was so funny. So yeah, that's the kind of shit I love, right? And even today was Ernie's birthday. Happy birthday, Fallen Fett. I'm sure you're not watching this, but happy birthday. I hope you had an awesome day. I messaged him earlier to say happy birthday. I'm sure he was feeling the love, and everybody was like posting funny videos of him like dancing with bubble wrap on his hands and stuff. Like it's just the shit that happens in those streams they're bonkers, and they're super funny. And then they just like, there's such a good mix. Even the Chat Migos Assemble, when I was on Chat Migos Assemble, I said to them, like, it took me a minute to kind of get used to this group because I was so used to Adam and Ernie and Cheney. But like, I fucking love that group. They have a little bit all on their own too, right? They have like, you know, they have the Lago jokes where Lago's Mr. Muscle Outdoor Man who hates the environment or whatever, and then you have Jesse who's always got dinosaurs on his fingers and making funny faces on camera, and then you have Chamba who's like, what the fuck is going on? Like, all of you guys are insane, and it's just like, I love it. I love the dynamic, man. I love it. They're all so fucking funny. And yeah, I often just sit and watch and just laugh my ass off. It's to the point where it's not even about the toys anymore. I remember I made a comment. I was watching a replay and I made a comment, and when I opened the comments, there was a negative comment from someone, and they're like, takes these guys 2 hours to talk about a week's worth of toys. Like, talk about toys and don't do all the jokes and shit. And I'm just like, dude, are you kidding me? Like, if I want to just read the news, I'll just read the fucking toy news. Like, the thing that makes this so great are the personalities. That's what makes it awesome. That's what makes them what they are and makes them so cool and so unique. Like, if you're not here for the jokes, then like there's way better and easier ways to get your news. Like, piss off. You don't need to be here. Like, if you don't want to waste 2 hours, then don't. You know? So yeah, I don't know. People can fuck themselves. That's what I gotta say. You don't like it? Don't watch it. Easy as pie. Cool. Those look not perfect, but they don't look that bad. So I don't know if I can. I think I could probably trim this one to make it a bit better. As I was just gonna say, but I don't know if I'll do it now or wait till it dries as I literally start doing it. So I guess that's also me in a nutshell. But yeah, I'd love to have that dynamic that they have because all of them have it. The Toy Migos. And same with Kevin, man. Kevin, honestly, like I came into Kevin after Toy Migos. Like I kind of discovered him from Toy Migos. And Kevin's fucking hilarious, man. Especially when he's with the enablers. Good Lord, it's just constant making fun of each other. Like, I love it. Again, it's that camaraderie of the band piece that I was talking about earlier about the brotherhood. That's just like, it makes it so fun, right? So cool, that looks better. I dig it. So there's my chest. Nice. Sides are still looking good. I didn't put my fingers in them again, which was good. I'm gonna not do the holes for the gauntlets for the knives right now, I don't think, because I want this to dry before I handle it. Because if I end up fucking this up, I'm gonna be pissed if I have to redo those. Oh, I still have to do the helmet though. There was just that one edge on the helmet I need to do. Marcus E says, for real, I had to stop buying every toy I wanted because it took up too much of my life. It became more stressful instead of fun. Yeah. I had a friend, a local friend. So when I got into toys collecting at first, I've only been toy collecting in like the capacity that I do now for the past probably like 8 years or so. And when I first started, I was chatting with a local group of 4 guys. We would hang out on Mondays, every Monday, and like 2 of us were customizers, 2 of them were not, and we would just get together and hang out at one guy's house. We would smoke some weed, and like we would customize and just shoot the shit and talk about toys all week. And it was just so fucking fun. And I had one friend, his name was Ray. I still have him. We just don't really talk too often, but you know, he got to a point where like he was buying 2 of every Marvel Legends that came out, and he was just like, he's like, I need to stop because like I buy it and it's like I look at the pile of stuff and I'm like, that I have to open, and he's like, it's a chore to open it. I'm like, man, that's a lot of money to spend on something that's giving you anxiety. Like, and he ultimately ended up stopping collecting Legends. He just picks up a couple here and there. Yeah, so actually that group, that the last time I made a Night Thrasher before we got the official one was for that guy. We so Brad Coffey, who is a customizer, local customizer, and was part of that Nerd Night group of mine, we did a figure swap a few years ago. That's probably like 4 years ago now. And I made him a Pyro, and he made me a Feral, which is still in my display. And because we swapped at Sean's house, at Mark, our buddy who hosted our front Monday nights, he was like, do you want to do another custom, and you make a custom for Ray and I'll make a custom for Sean, and then like we just like won't tell them, and then when we open ours we'll give them one each, and then they can kind of join in on the opening too and whatever. And I was like, yeah, that's a sick idea. So yeah, so I actually made a Night Thrasher for Ray, and yeah, it was cool because I remember we had kind of planted the seed like a few months, like when we started our swaps, which it took a couple months to get through. So they kind of forgot by that point. But Brad was like, if there was one Marvel Legend you would love to have them make, like what would it be, or that you don't think they'll make? So yeah, so I got to make a Night Thrasher the first time for Ray. So This is actually my second Night Thrasher. But I remember when I made that Night Thrasher new collector, who I'm making this one for, he was like, dude, I want that Night Thrasher. Because he's a huge Night Thrasher fan. Okay, hopefully Seth likes this better. I feel like that does look a little bit better. So you guys will not, for sure, not be able to see this, but basically what I'm doing is I'm just defining the edge of the mask a little bit more. By just putting a very, very thin strip of epoxy sculpt on the kind of cheek area. And it's just basically giving that layer of the mask like a sharper edge. We only did that because it seemed kind of smooth. It didn't seem like it was a separate piece. It just looked like I had sculpted a line into it. So to give it a bit more definition, Seth asked if I could kind of look at it and see if I could fix it. So me and Seth don't keep these secret. We keep them open and then we give each other feedback. So this year for me, he made me a Cerise from Excalibur. And it's dope. I can't wait. That's the first shelf I'm starting on when I get back to my shelves is my 90s X-Men display. The display that I would probably, if someone told me you can only keep one shelf, what's it going to be? It would be my 90s X-Men shelf, because that's where it all began. So yeah. Cool. That looks good. You'll be happy with that. Cool. That's good. Marcus E. I'm Storm Shadow. Today at work, I guess one of the girls is a big Shrek fan, and someone was doing the Muffin Man bit, and it reminded me of last week's Toy Migos, and I was like, the Muffin Man! Not my gumdrop buttons! Anonymous Dude says, I see a lot of parallels with you and Dan Who. He was in music too, steered away from it and found solace and joy in toys. Dan actually was in real music. I wasn't. I was a wannabe musician. I mean, I toured and stuff, but like very exclusive, like small, like not big tours, in Ontario, basically, as far. I didn't really leave the province. But the difference is like, I remember after Dan was on the figure booth a couple weeks ago, another amazing talk about more awesome content for the toy community. If you haven't listened to the figure booth, prime to the person, figure fan Nate, like seriously, it's riveting stuff. It's good stuff. I love it. Like, I think it's one of the best, especially for people who are new to the hobby and want to kind of get into it a bit. It's one of the best. But anyways, he was on their show, and when he talked about being a musician, I'm like, shut the fuck up. And I messaged him and I was like, dude, I didn't know you were a musician. And he sent me a bunch of links to stuff, and I was like, man, this is like actually good. Like, this is good music. So yeah, like pretty cool. Another person who was into music was Cheney. Actually, Cheney used to be play in bands as well. So I don't know the nature of it, but I know when I was on Toy Migos the first time, before we did the show, we were talking about music, and I think he plays, maybe I'm wrong, I think he plays drums. Anyways, he was in a band of some sort. So yeah, so I think that's a pretty common thing. And another person at Toy Farce is also a musician. He actually is in a band. And again, the music is good. He sent me their Spotify. So yeah, check it out. Hit up. I can't remember the name of Toy Farce's band, but hit him up because it's good. Yeah. But yeah, it seems like there's a lot of musicians. Same with I don't know if you've ever heard of a band called Bayside. They're like a rock band from New York, I think. And the bassist, Anthony, no, the bassist isn't Anthony, the bassist is Nick, is a avid Star Wars fan, but huge Black Series collector, and is very vocal about it. So yeah, I think that's a very common thing for rock stars, which is funny because we were talking about if toys would ever be rock star cool. And now here we're talking about rockers who are fucking into toys, which is funny. Anonymous Dude says, Ernie is fantastic. Happy birthday. Yes, happy birthday to the fallen Fett, the one and only. Oh my god, we got comments again. That's great. Marcus C says, some people just don't like fun. Ironically, we all need humor, especially when it comes to playing with toys. Yeah, I agree. I think fun and toys kind of go hand in hand, yeah? So, people are just annoying. Saw a lot of people hating on those Spider-Man, No Way Home, Spider-Man, Toby and Andrew, and I'm just like, honestly, guys, like, what more could you ask for? You got brand new molds of 2 of the figures with updated articulation in the torso. Like, do they have boot swivel? I mean, we don't even know if they have boot swivel or not. They're just digital renders. But people are like trashing it, and I'm just like, look, if you don't want it, don't buy it. Like, just don't buy it. Like, would I want all unmasked heads? Yes, of course I want unmasked heads. But I don't feel like it's not worth it because they don't have unmasked heads. We're getting brand new sculpts, updated articulation, pinless joints. Like, what more could you ask for? The only issue I have with their avenue for that is putting it out on Hasbro Pulse as an exclusive, because it really fucks over a lot of international collectors. Not me personally, but like, that's the only thing where I'm like, that's a misstep. That's an important piece of the puzzle to just give to select places, select countries. So yeah. Anonymous Dude says, Toy Migos, love their branding and their logo. Yeah, me too. Marcus E says the Enabler stream. Dude, hours 4 and 5 is where the fun begins. Yeah, because that's when they start getting silly. I actually watched the whole one, the last episode. The last one they did, the one after my week that I was on, so. Anonymous Dude says, I think toys are really underrated. There's so much power, inspiration, and joy that comes from holding a 6-inch figure in your hands. You can use that energy to do anything. I think the thing is again, now that it's becoming a bit more mainstream and a bit more acceptable, it's like we're starting to see all the different arts that spin out of the hobby, right? And it's like, there's toy photography, there's soft goods, there's customizing, there's 3D printing and heads, painting, just even painting heads. It's crazy, man. There's just so much. It's such an avenue for creativity, right? But again, it makes sense that toys do that. So Kyle Brown says, I've just now thought of my first wishlist character. Oh no, what did I say? Did I give you an idea? Anonymous Booth, Figure Booth, Heart, Beef. Yeah, Prime's got beef with everybody. Marcus says the SHF and Marvel Legends No Way Home Spider-Man look cool. I'm just too broke to buy them. I will say that the pricing on Legends has definitely slowed me down. And it's almost knocked me out of Star Wars Black Series. But I mean, it's not just pricing. I just don't feel like the value is there for Black Series anymore. But yeah, I agree. I think in terms of, I think if the SH figure arts come with unmasked heads, it's going to do a big way to move me from switching from the Legend stuff to the figure art stuff. But if they don't come with unmasked heads, which I'm guessing they won't, figure arts isn't really known for unmasked heads. Like, how many Iron Mans have we had? Like, literally fucking 20 of them, and like, how many of them came with a Tony head? Like 2, maybe 3. So I don't think we're gonna get Toby and Andrew heads with those figures. My biggest issue with the SH figure arts ones is, like, I don't like how they do their Spider-Man with those diapers. Like, I understand why. It's just not appealing. It takes away the realistic look of them to me. Like, I feel like the silhouettes that the Legends ones cut with the articulation add-on that we get in the torso and the pinless joints make them the superior option. So, and they're cheaper. Not by much, but they're cheaper. I mean, I guess we don't know yet. We don't know how much the Bandai ones are going to be, but yeah. Kyle says, no, been in a trauma mood lately. That's what inspired it. Oh, okay. What's trauma? TROMA. That might be an acronym, I'm guessing. Okay, guys, I don't really have a whole lot more to do on this here. wanted to do those holes, but I really don't want to grab this and fuck up any of the work. So I think I'm gonna have to do it tomorrow or later on tonight. It's 11. Let's see. In other news, for anybody who knows me, I'm a big bubbly fan. And in Canada, we just got watermelon, and that shit is the bomb. Bubbly. Sponsor me. Costs too much to buy 2 cases a week, 3 cases a week. Please. I'll drink it on every live stream. I'll take it out of my cold caddy, so that way I can show off the can if I have to. Okay, we're going to leave this alone. So there's your last look at Night Thrasher. I'm going to flip that camera back to me. Pretty good. Mostly good. Guys, I got to tell you, I cannot wait to share my figure I'm making for Morning WIP with you guys, because I am madly in love with it. So it's kind of like Mandarin. That Mandarin figure I made for Resilient Customs not too long ago, animated series Mandarin. It was so fun to make that I just couldn't stop. I couldn't put it down. I just kept making it because I loved it. Anonymous Dude says, I see hope for toys. As you said, toy photography, Comic-Con, MCU, cosplay, some very cool, attractive, influential people in this stuff. Yeah, it's true. Like I said, it's becoming more open. I don't know if toys will ever be considered cool, but I definitely think that people look at it differently than they once did. So, Marcus says, the engineering for Spider-Man articulation seems a bit overcomplicated. That new Naruto seems really good. Wish that could be the new standard. I don't think I saw that. I know what Naruto is, but because I don't follow it, I don't pay that close attention. But yeah, I feel like Bandai are the kings of overcomplicating articulation. See any Mayfix or any SH Figuart Mandalorian figure. Like when you're dealing with pieces that are like literally like the smallest little fucking thing, it's just exhausting. Oh, Figuart Baby Yoda. Oh my god, that figure is fucking annoying. You can't even look at it without the arms falling off. It's exhausting. Honest Dude said, doesn't matter as long as you love it. Yeah, man, it's true. Like I said, it's the inspiration, right? Kyle says, Trauma Films, folks behind the Toxic Avenger. Ah, cool. I remember Toxie from the old Toxic Avenger movie. There's lots of boobs in that movie. I remember. That's how I remember it when I was a kid. Honest Dude says, this was great. Talking toy community with someone like me. Thank you. You're very talented. Listen to Blink. Thank you, dude. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for engaging in conversation like you always do. It's very awesome. It's nice to do that too. It's nice to chat with more new people. So thank you for being here, guys. Thank you all for the chats. This place was bumping tonight. Had a good amount of people in here at one point. I mean, for me, anyways. So thank you all very much for your time. And yeah, so we're gonna be taking a break from WIP Wednesday again for the next little bit. Next week. I will post on Tuesday what I'll be working on, what shelf I'll be working on for Shelf Shuffle next week. I'm not quite sure. I'm guessing it's going to take me, let me see. Tomorrow I'm going to sand and dismantle this and my figure for Storm, or for Storm. He made me Storm. For Morning WIP. So tomorrow I will sand and dismantle and board and tape. What's today? Tomorrow's Thursday. Friday I'll probably start painting. So priming it Friday, maybe even putting some base coats down if I can get it done early enough. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It's probably going to be the start of my 90s X-Men shelf. To be honest, I might just finish these 2 figures by Monday or Tuesday. So Wednesday will probably be the start of the 90s X-Men shelf, which is going right there. You can see my Professor X that I made right there. I posted that on Instagram today. Check it out if you want to. yeah, so probably 90s X-Men shelf next week. I can't imagine I'm going to get much farther than that. So, oh, Kyle said not Toxie though. Somebody else. Okay, I'm trying to remember what else was in that, but I remember Toxie and I remember boobs. That's what I remember from that movie when I was a kid. Marcus says, "Thank you, dude. Thank you guys. You guys are both awesome." Anonymous dude, Marcus, Strand, Kyle, Quebec Diorama was in here. I know there's a few people who kind of catch the replays pretty regularly. Metaluna, Morning Wolf, Aspiring Grown Up. Thank you guys all. You're all the best. Have a great night. We'll see you next week. Enjoy Comic-Con this weekend. I might do an impromptu live stream on Instagram, possibly with Stranded Customs if I can convince him, since we usually do that on Saturday maybe. So keep a lookout for that as well. It'll be on Instagram, not here. So thanks, guys. Peace.